Now it's good afternoon from us here at the restaurant with Joe, and we're continuing on the series in relation to Saddler Fair and the development that James Penny did, a person who has unfortunately passed on, but was one of Queensland's real characters at the forefront of tourism, entertainment, and really tried to take advantage of the advantages that Expo brought to Brisbane. And I think it's epitomised in that his own personal house, and you know this, Joe, and you can tell us the story, had an aviary as part and parcel of its presentation. And I always remember walking into the house and being blown away by such a lateral mind to have an aviary as part of the entrance. So,
yeah, it was great. Yeah, I was fortunate to see the house. James was an interior decorator, so the house was the best that I've seen in Brisbane. Great parties. James was a visionary person. Saddler Fair was a forefront, leading a renaissance, I could say, of the cafe industry, with me coming here and doing the whole thing with aromas, and the nightclub that was here in Saddler Fair, where we had a club where 18-year-olds that go there would be acting maturely. Yeah, people have an extra drink or two, but there was never any rowdiness. The lineups were up to here. The club was just a little bit further down in this building, and it was a very much a beautiful community that used to hang out here. They were so-called yuppies, and yeah, James started it, and I continued in my coffee culture renaissance of the coffee industry.
I do remember that was one of the highlights when I used to come in before the coffee culture became like omnipresent in Brisbane. But there was a beautiful red Ferrari parked out in front.
Yeah, well,
the
story with that is that when I didn't have it parked in the front, because I'm used to like parking in the garage, in the street, it gets all dusty and so on. I had a few scratches when it was parked. Nowadays we've got web cameras everywhere, and so I used to park it in the front basically so that we could keep an eye on it. And after that, it was history. We've had here Schumacher's Formula One car when he won the very first Ferrari Grand Prix with Ferrari, and so the street became known, and everyone came to show off their sports cars, whether they were Ferraris or whether they were whatever.
In fact, I think you've even had occasionally like the Ferrari club parked out there. I seem to remember 15, 20 Ferraris parked in the street.
With the very second one that we did, we had 1997, the 50th anniversary of Ferrari, because Ferrari started in 1947, and we had 50 Ferraris here on the street to celebrate this great event. But the biggest was having Schumacher's Formula One car brought here with a Fiat red truck with a Ferrari horse on it, right here on Park Road. That was a big event.
My son would have absolutely loved that. He's just nuts about Ferraris. And just to leading towards a bit of a conclusion, there is something about the marine industry, because we did those earlier interviews with Gary Walker, and I'm sure you know are incredibly fascinating. And it does bring to mind one little story that I can tell about James Penny, and that sort of an acquaintance of mine, fellow by the name of Bill Heck, who owns the Rocky Point Sugar Mill, and another friend of mine, Peter Moran, were just coming back from the launch of the start of the Brisbane Gladstone Yacht Race, and they pulled up over in the Lazaret at Peel Island, and up next to them motors James Penny with a mate of his, and with 6 gorgeous females, all topless, all just having a great time out on the bay, and the ratio just speaks volumes for James Penny's life, just larger than life, live it in the fast lane, go up, get it, and grab life by the collar.
People of that era, because the social network wasn't Facebook, Twitter, etc. The social network were places like Savoir Faire, which James built, and people just met. That was the interaction of people. Nowadays, before the person comes in, they're Facebook already, you know, they log on or they whatever. But in the old days, it was more people getting together in clubs and cafes, stay out till 3, 4 a.m., 5 a.m. the nightclubs in those days would be open, and there wasn't all this rowdiness that there is today, all these police cars everywhere. Apart from 1 or 2 people that might have one extra drink, it was very, very well-behaved crowd.
Anyway, well, thank you, Joe. Those series of interviews were just brilliant. Thank you so much. And don't forget, everyone, the YouTube channel, Foundation Expo 88, the YouTube channel. We're building a series of interesting, hopefully, interviews, trying to get behind the legacy of Expo, and there's just so much more to the story of Expo besides it just that 6-month period. It did leave a tremendous legacy of benefits behind in Brisbane that just even today continue to flow on and will flow on, I'm absolutely certain, to the G20. Thank you and goodbye.